What is your favorite video game of all time? Portal 2. Oh hi. How are you holding up? Because I'm a potato. Slow clap. Oh good, my slow clap processor made it into this thing. So we have that. Immo, the single best video game ever made, and it's not close. He's not just a regular moron. He's the product of the greatest minds of a generation working together with the express purpose of building the dumbest moron who ever lived. And you just put him in charge of the entire facility. Slow clap. But that's still working. Goldeny. Those late 90s get-togethers with my bro and some mates. 4-player license to kill all maps. Glorious, nostalgic and etched firmly in my soul. Pistols only, no mines, no ojib. Slappers only. Knights of the Old Republic 1, 2. I'm both excited and worried about the remake. Loved the original games. The good thing is that if it's bad, the originals still exist. Command & Conquer 2 Red Alert. Kirov reporting. Squared away sir. Ocarina of Time. The Gerudo Valley soundtrack. This is lame but Rock Band / Guitar Hero. Put way too much time into that growing up. My BF and I were recently trying to find GH or RB, but it's also so expensive and hard to find now. I love GH3. So much time and memories with friends playing that game. Go to a thrift store, see if you can find any Guitar Hero guitars and download Clone Hero and some songs. All you need is a guitar and a PC that works. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Honestly, I love them all from THPS 1 to Thor. Some are better than others, some I have more nostalgic attachment for than others, but they are all just a great time. I recently 100% each one of those games back to back for the first time. Had an absolute blast doing it. I hope they give Thug the same treatment as 1+2. Thug is the absolute gold standard for the whole franchise. Legitimately engaging story, super tight controls, amazing combo system, customization of just about everything from aesthetics to tricks. I love it. I really loved the remakes of 1+2, so they would definitely get my Prada money on a Thug remake. Roller Coaster Tycoon. 1998, 1999 were such special years for PC gaming. Backyard baseball. Super Mario 64. The nostalgia associated with that game is unparalleled. I still feel it every time I play it. I was 16 when it came out in 1996. The hype around the N64 overall was crazy. Blockbuster stores had TVs set up with SM64 available to play the full version, I think. There were always several people waiting to play. I got to play a couple times before it actually came out. I bought my N64 on release day and played SM64 all weekend. I literally only stopped playing to eat, go to the bathroom, and sleep a little. I still play it occasionally to this day. The nostalgia is very strong with this one. I still have a stupid little coin that I got for buying my N64 on release day. Original Star Wars Battlefront 2. Galactic Conquest was an amazing feature. Also the 501st campaign was so good. Star Wars Battlefront 2 was one of the first games I bought when I swapped over to PC gaming. I spent countless hours in Galactic Conquest. I loved/hated getting into multiple space battles and forgetting there was a ground portion to the game. Spyro the Dragon. I have some great memories playing the Great Wall of China level in Year of the Dragon. Edit. The Orient Express level was on Crash Bandicoot. I just Mandela affected myself and 1k other people. Yo. I was literally thinking this to myself as I read the title of Ops Post. Was one of the first games I played. Ripto's Rage to be exact. And then I remember convincing my mom to buy me the 3-pack. Like mom. 3 games for the price of 1. What a steal. Great time playing that. Was stoked when they rebooted them. BioShock, the first one. Welcome to the circus of value. Bienvenido a la banda tuhu. Muchas gracias, señor. Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind was my first RPG, and still to this day I find myself playing with only graphic mods and OpenMW. My favorite Elder Scrolls game. Getting into it coming from newer games is a challenge, but worth it. I love how there are no quest markers, so you have to immerse yourself in the world. to know what to do and where to go, talking to people, asking directions. Even the combat is not that bad once you understand how it works. Getting utterly lost on vague directions and fighting random monsters and demons is very underrated. Much more of a sense of adventure than just here I'll mark it on your map, bam, you're there. Fallout NV. Patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter. Degenerates like you belong on a cross. Super Mario Bros. 3. One of my most cherished memories of childhood is my mother surprising me with this game one day. I don't know if that makes it my favorite game, but certainly my most memorable. Dude. Circa early 90s, just 6 Yomi, my mom, little brother and big sister, up early for Christmas, and had no idea that the Super Nintendo was already plugged in and hooked up to our little living room TV. One of those "are you sure that's everything?" check under the TV moves. Had Super Mario Bros., Tetris Attack and an arcade game. You would have thought Steve Jobs was unveiling the iPad in our cozy trailer living room, because we went nuts. Just the 4 of us hanging out watching, mainly, my little bro, and I play through the games, but mom got in on the Tetris Attack smackdowns. Don't let the old lady fool you. Just reminded me of that with your story. That was our first game system and my mom made that happen for us in one of those magic Christmas moments. At 32 years old now, gaming is still one of the main ways my brother and I keep in touch. Just did some Mario Party on the Switch during a family vacation. Red Dead Redemption. It hits close to home for me. I used to watch westerns all the time with my grandma. She passed away a week after Easter that year. When I played it, was like we were watching a western again. The story of John Marston is something I always love going back to. Online was great playing with my best friend. We always had our go-to characters to cause chaos across online. Warring with posses at the fort in Mexico was fun too. Red Dead Redemption 2 is awesome. But I'm a sucker for the original. Hoping for a remaster. I'm 25. Never played it when RDR came out. I played RDR2 during lockdown, then finished RDR1 a couple months ago. I'm glad I played the original second. It was great to go through RDR1, knowing what all the characters had already been through. Gonna play RDR2 a second time sometime soon. Jak and Daxter. As a kid, it was fun to romp around the maps and mindlessly bash things. It scratches that nice completionist itch in me. The scenery is really pretty, the music is all bops, and I will constantly replay it. Plus it was the first game I 100% completed. Jak 2's slum level with the Crimson Guard will always haunt me. Oh my god, you just brought back such freaking frustrating memories. Minecraft. I play lots of different games now, but Minecraft has made a huge impact to my life. I feel like my source of entertainment, humor and gaming style were all cultivated during my adolescent years playing Minecraft. It holds a special place in my heart. I got my best friend through Minecraft. We were in the first grade together, and I took piano lessons with his crazy Russian mom. One day after my piano lesson I went upstairs and saw we both played Minecraft. Immediately we became friends. We are freshmen in high school now. Still best friends, and I still take piano with his Russian mom. We still play video games together and even run a small MC server for us and our friends. It's so weird to me that there are people for whom Minecraft existed in first grade. Baldur's Gate 2. The child of Baal has awoken. Halo 3. Halo 3 just holds such a special place in my heart. First game I ever properly played with my dad, and still my favorite game to date. Halo 3 was like a new milestone in me and my friends' lives. Especially the Halo 3 edition of Mountain Dew Game Fuel was so much better than newer game fuels, and every once in a while it comes back. Chrono Trigger. Nothing compares. Court has 12 different endings, 13 if you're on the DS port. Each one shows a different story if the game is finished at different points, if you didn't complete certain events, if you didn't meet certain people, the ending changes accordingly. This was in 1995. Court coined the term New Game Plus absolutely holds up to this day and remains one of the best games ever committed to Silicon. I agree, it really is a great game. In addition, the ageless pixel graphics and the amazing soundtrack really hold up surprisingly well today. I can recommend it to any RPG or JRPG fans. Halo 2. No other game has come close to the jaw-dropping brilliance of that game when it was released, especially with online mode starting then too. I was truly blinded by its majesty. The ending scene of that first level just might be the most badass way a video game has ever started. Permission to leave the ship? For what purpose? To give the Covenant back their bomb. If they wanted you hooked on the rest of the game, that was the absolute best way to do it. The other stations blowing up, and the delay between the explosion and the sound hitting the station you're in. Magic. I always stop and stare out the window for that part. Paper Mario, The Thousand Year Door. Amazing soundtrack too. Zelda, A Link to the Past. Yes, all I ever hear is OOT. A Link to the Past was the first video game I really got into. Really felt like an adventure. Totally. Waking up to a missing uncle during a fierce storm, stoic guards that won't let you outside that beginning area, heightening the feeling of a hostile world, and having to figure out what to do. One of the best openings to a game I've ever experienced. Stardew Valley. Love that game, and can't wait for the creator's new game. Ape is making a new game. MGS3 Snake Eater. I'll never forget that boss fight against the ladder. At least the music for that fight was amazing. Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2's final mission will always be one of my favorite gaming moments. The concept behind that mission is so freaking great. The entire game leads up to it, and it actually delivers on the premise. Banjo-Kazooie. My uncle bought an N64, so we could have something to bond over at his house. He used to just watch me play that game. It was a great time. Miss you, love you, Uncle Tommy. Click Clockwood is a pinnacle of video gaming. Rusty Fricket Bay on the other hand. Lego Star Wars, The Complete Saga. Legendary game. Also very excited for the new Skywalker Saga game coming out. The delays are killing me slowly. Diablo 2. Just picked up the remaster, and I'm sucked right in like it's 1999 all over again. Stay a while and listen. The Witcher 3. Couldn't agree more. The base game alone is amazing, but having Blood and Wine as well was like a second game. Blood and Wine is easily the best DLC of all time. Borderlands 2. I love Borderlands 2, but Tiny Tina's Attack on Dragon Keep DLC is one of my favorite experiences of gaming period. Literally playing out a D&D campaign, with so much creativity and character to it. And Tina's breakdown at the end. Love this DLC so much. Good news is that a standalone game based on that DLC is being released next year, called Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. StarCraft. Came here for StarCraft, Broodwar. Still played 2 on 6 comp stops. Terraria. Here's to more final updates to come. Super Mario World. I love beating it 100%. Frick tubular 30 years later and it still kicks my ass. Was that the one where you have to balloon your way across the level? I remember being stuck on that one for so long. Probably Skyrim. I had never been immersed in that large of a world before. Even made better by my love for all things fantasy. I finished basically every quest and joined every guild in that game. So much fun. Close seconds for me are Halo 3 and Gears of War 1. When both came out I was instantly hooked. Those were my peak Xbox 360 playing days in high school. Nothing better than playing with your friends all night after school, on the weekends, and all summer long. I'm not as big a gamer as I used to be, but I have very fond memories of all those games. Bloodborne. Just got the platinum for this last weekend. Absolutely incredible game. Welcome to the Plat Club. Skyrim. So good. I have no idea how Bethesda are going to follow that by releasing it until the end of time on every computer with a screen. Just like the original Doom. Any Monkey Island game. Probably 2 or 4. Curse of Monkey Island is one of my favorite games. Tony Hawk's Underground 2. The soundtrack to that game was one of the best I've ever experienced. And you could put the game disc in a CD player and listen to the soundtrack separately. You can put the N64 cartridge in your VCR and get in trouble from your mom because someone told you you can listen to music straight from it. Half-Life, and it's not even close. For the middle-aged man, it's the game that blew the medium wide open. Greatest influence on gaming as far as I'm concerned. I could say Half-Life is what truly got me into gaming. All other games were meh, but Half-Life was immersive. The Last of Us could be the daddy issues talking, but I really love that game. This question is always hard, but I think The Last of Us wins out for me too. Absolutely love the second one too, despite all the hate it gets. It only gets hate from insecure basement redditors. Team Fortress 2. I don't care how bad it's gotten, or how busted that game is, that game has some of the funnest mechanics I've ever seen in a game. Such as rocket jumping. What it got so right was that it was so easy to pick up and feel like you were contributing something. I've played many other online FPS or team games, and if you haven't put 200 hours in, then it can feel totally disheartening to play. TF2, Pyro, just run around setting things on fire and you feel like you've done something, even if your average lifespan was 45 seconds. Recently I have to say Red Dead Redemption 2. I've been going through some really hard times and this game has gotten me to forget the struggles and immerse myself within the world. Absolutely outstanding game. I'll second this. Damn near made me shed a tear, and online is vast. Assassin's Creed 2nd. 2 and Brotherhood get overlooked too quickly or boiled down to their mechanics/settings. I think the characters and plot, inside and out of the Animus, were heavily underpraised. Those 2 games gave me so much intrigue and love for the franchise. I respect that they aren't phoning in carbon copies every sequel, but the new games just aren't for me. I wish they handled the Desmond story with more tact, because that was the coolest idea Imo. And Ezio was so fun to grow alongside over the years we play as him. I really wish they kept up the Unity/Syndicate engine and figured out how to add some of Black Flag's features to it. Unity felt so damn smooth and looked fantastic. Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla are great games, but they don't have the Assassin's Creed vibe whatsoever. They're also much clunkier than Unity and Syndicate. Terrible release, and Arno doesn't compare to Ezio, but it was the last act game with the perfect balance between gameplay and story. Simpsons Hit and Run. This 100% needs either a remaster or a port. Someone actually started making one basically from scratch I think, but I think he got a cease and desist or something. I hate Destiny 2, it's my favorite game of all time. It's the best $200 free to play game I've ever played. Like PS players are gonna get mad, but Destiny 2 Bungie put $200 into the game to get an actual story. Me gets Xbox Game Pass for $14 and gets the DLCs. Bungie, wait, you weren't supposed to do that. Legend of Zelda BOTW. I'm playing it for the first time now. I've defeated the 4 beasts, but don't want to fight Ganon yet, as I really don't want this game to end. But Xenoblade Chronicles 2 landed on my doorstep yesterday, so I will fight him within the next month or 2. I wouldn't worry about the game ending after you beat Ganon. There's still a million other things to do, even if they are not part of the main story. Dead Space. Just downloaded it from EA Play last month, and I'm now on 2. Super dope. So different. Fallout, New Vegas. My PFP definitely was not a dead giveaway or anything. Final Fantasy VII. Not coincidentally, also contained the single most awesome moment in my gaming history, when Sephiroth dropped from the sky and reduced the size of your party. This game was so full of wow moments, will always live on as my favorite. That's such a polite way to explain something so peenish. God of War. I think GoW was the pinnacle of PS4. No load times, the never cut away camera angle, the story, the fighting system, even little things like the head starting/stop to tell whenever you got in the boat. It was just perfectly crafted. From what I'm seeing, God of War Ragnarok could shape up to be one of the greatest games of all time. What little complaints the 2018 game had, mainly enemy/boss variety, is seemingly addressed in the sequel. They've even added more combat moves, and who knows what else. The only thing that is unknown is the plot/story. They've already stated it's the final game in the Norse saga, and if the 2018 game is anything to go by, this game will be exceptional. Even the visuals were insane on the PS4. Outer Wilds. Nothing else compares, except for its DLC. Wait, there's DLC. I loved Outer Wilds, but was waiting a while to forget as much as possible before returning. Is the DLC worth coming back to the game? Yes, absolutely. Go play it. Super Mario Galaxy. Agreed. Has one of the best game hosts of all time. Nothing is as magical as landing on Space Junk Galaxy and hearing the first notes play as you see the road ahead. My childhood. Shadow of the Colossus. Shadow pulled me in immediately, but the first time the camera pans all the way up to the top of third Colossus, I knew I was playing something special. Civilization 5. I've been playing Civilization for over 20 years, starting with Civ 2. Still hasn't gotten old, just as addicting as ever. Civ 2 is my favorite game. The original Donkey Kong Country. Partly because it reminds me of hanging with my brothers when we were kids, partly because the game is a perfect tough but fair platformer, but mostly because the soundtrack absolutely slaps. DKC2 was the very first video game I owned. My grandma got it for me for my 5th birthday, along with a SIG wallet that already had $5 in it. RIP grandma, love you. Tetris, weirdly enough. Factorio, simply because I have over 4,000 hours played in the game. That was way further down than I expected. Easily the game I played the longest, and I keep coming back for a different mod set all the time. Currently at roughly 500h into a Pianodon C block game. Resident Evil 4. Wade Buain? Stranger. Dark Souls. I honestly shocked at how far I had to scroll to find this. The Elder Scrolls 3, Morrowind was ahead of its time. I guess we are getting older. Skyrim and Oblivion both took this post's place. But anyone who has played them in the order of TES 3, 4 then 5 knows 3 is the best one. Uncharted 2 is probably the best self-contained game experience I've had. The train fight in that game is incredible. I know people hate on the Uncharted and Last of Us games because they're on rails, but there's nothing cooler than a well-executed set piece. Some people hate being told a story. They want to control the story. I remember people being mad when TLOU didn't let you make a decision at the end. Like, nothing about this game ever suggested that you could make a choice at any point. Halo Reach. More of a 3 guy myself. Super Metroid, and it's not close. I scrolled a long time hoping someone else said it. Super Metroid is by far my favorite experience playing a video game. Everything about the game is executed flawlessly. Heroes of Might and Magic 3, and Dungeon 4 favorite town. Fable 2. One of the most unique games I've ever played, and it just reminds me of my childhood. I replay it about every year or two, and I just get this huge feeling of coming home every time. Undertale. The things I'd do for getting the feeling of playing Undertale for the first time again. Wii Sports. Its simplicity makes it extremely fun to play with anyone, and even though it was the free game that came with the console, I've probably put more hours on it than any other game. Perfect Dark N64. This is such an excellent choice. The weapons were second to none, and they all had secondary functions. Love how it throws you against those creepy overpowered aliens at the end. I had such a blast playing with bots, with the excellent multiplayer level design. The feeling that everything was a futuristic version of GoldenEye was so awesome. I'm torn between Zelda Wind Waker and Dark Souls, but I'll have to go with WW here. Wind Waker has aged very well. Persona 5. Mine was formerly Red Dead Redemption 2, and before that it was Skyrim. Persona 5 is someone made a game perfectly tailored to my tastes in gaming. It is a perfect 10 to me. Elder Scrolls Oblivion. For all the stuff Skyrim does right, Oblivion just has the better story, quests, characters, towns, and spells. I'll always enjoy playing Oblivion over Skyrim for that reason. But, let's be honest, that bloom effect looks terrible now. When I haven't played it for a while, and jump back in, it always takes me a bit to get used to it. Star Wars Battlefront 2, OG, or Bomberman Jettas. OG Battlefront 2 is one of those defining childhood games for me. Halo 3. Peak of my childhood was getting home from school and getting my friends to bring theirs box to play System Link. The Forge and custom games were immaculate too. Portal 2, because it's the first game I played with my current BF. But Postal 2 has a special place in my heart. I like how you can piss on people. What a difference a single letter makes. Chess. Too bad that they haven't released any official sequel. Donkey Kong Country. The music in that game still plays in my head. There are a dozen I could go for, including Half-Life 1 and 2, Civ 6, Quake 2nd, Mass Effect, but the one I find myself thinking about, quoting, listening to the soundtrack, and just randomly thinking about is Grim Fandango. A studio at the absolute pinnacle, perfect writing and voice acting, challenging but always fun. Just stunning. Lego Star Wars. Halo 1. 3 could get away with Reach and Odds 2 before 343 really fricked it up. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Not only was it a really good game, but the map designs were amazing. I loved all the secret spots that were incredibly difficult to get to, especially on high-rise. Also COD Advanced Warfare was a freaking awesome game. Crap guns, like all the snipers, were trash, but the gamma play was awesome. Not to mention Exo Zombies, starring John Malkovich, John Bernthal, Bill Paxton, and Bruce Campbell, is IMO the greatest COD zombie game. Also COD Advanced Warfare was a freaking awesome game. Crap guns, like all the snipers, were trash, but the gamma play was awesome. Not to mention Exo Zombies, starring John Malkovich, John Bernthal, Bill Paxton, and Bruce Campbell, is IMO the greatest COD zombie game.